and how they convey train movement. First of all, there is 6 different speeds on a railroad. There's maximum authorized speed, limited speed, medium speed, slow speed, restricted speed, and stop. And then there's different territories that whatever you're going to model, maybe ABS, automatic block signals, or CTC with a dispatcher. I got a little diagram on the top here, and it shows you the trains and where they at and how they knock down the signals. If you take the train on the right, the signal all the way to the right is green for the next train, then a yellow, and then a stop. A yellow means approach, prepared to stop at the next signal. The next signal is red, and the signal ahead of him is red because there's a train ahead of him. Now the train ahead of him, he's got a green, and then a yellow, and then a red. That's how the signals, what you call down, when he goes by the signal, it's what they call knocking down the signals. Okay, next slide, Dave. Okay, this is a green signal, this is a clear, and this is when you would find on an ABS. This is an ABS territory. CTC won't have a single signal unless they're in almost like a dark territory. They're coming out of a dark territory into a signal territory. So green means clear, maximum authorized speed. Okay, next one, Dave. Here's a yellow. Now you guys get a yellow because there's a switch down there or another train ahead of him. And this is an approach, prepared to stop at the next signal. Okay, next one, Dave. Now, red means obviously stop. Now, if you've noticed, there's a little number plate on the bottom on some of these, and some of them will say like an APP marker. An APP marker means that there's another train there, or maybe somebody's working on a track, but it won't tell you the conditions of the track. It could be a bad track. Okay. If it's an A, it's an absolute signal. Means you have to absolutely stop. Or if you go by that, you're absolutely without a job. Guaranteed.
There you go.
There you go, yeah. Okay, next signal, Dave. Now, when you look at the two signals, the top signal is always a mainline signal. You read them from the top down. So if you read the top is mainline signal, anything on the bottom, it means you're going to go into the siding. So this one here happens to be 2 reds. Now the thing is, with the 2 reds, if it says D, it could be a distant signal. Now, for the guys that are doing like Sioux Line, like Tom, the D for the Canadian railroads means diversion. They're going to go off into the siding somewhere. If this is a number plate on the bottom, you can go by the signal, but the thing is, it's in CTC territory. You have to stop and proceed at restricted speed. Okay, next signal, Dave. Okay, here we go. Approach. Again, you read the top signal. That means approach, proceed, prepared to stop at the next signal. Okay, next signal, Dave. Okay, here you go. Green, it's green over red. Again, it's clear. That means it's maximum authorized speed. Whatever the track is good for, if it's good for 70, that's what you're going to get. If it's good for 30, that's what you're going to get. It's in your timetables. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, now you got green over red. It's approach medium. Approach medium means approach the next signal, not exceeding medium speed. That means you're coming out of a siding. When you get an approach medium, approach the next signal at medium speed. That means if you're coming out of a siding, you have to hit that, prepared to stop at the next signal doing medium speed. Because the siding may be good for a medium speed, which would be 30 miles an hour. Okay, next signal, Dave. Okay, red over green. This is a medium clear. It's almost like looking at the 3 target, but there's no bottom target. So medium speed through turnouts, crossovers, power operated switches, and once you're all on the main, then you're good to go. Maximum authorized speed. Okay, next signal, Dave. Okay, now switches. How do you determine the speed of the switch? The switch on the left is in dark territory. It's dead because there's no signals there. There's a hand throw switch, and if you see how tight the curve is, it's such a short space. The way they determine the speed is from the point to the frog. The longer the point to the frog, the higher the rating for the switch. If you look at the switch with the model train there, you can see it's a long switch. So he can hit that at a pretty good clip, whatever he wants to go without tipping the cars over and derailing. Okay, next switch, Dave. Okay, here's your signals. They control 2 tracks. This is almost what they call like an interlocker. An interlocking means any tracks connected to electrical appliances with signals, even though it's a siding, coming out of a siding, as you see there's 2 signals. When you come out of the siding, the best you can get will probably be maybe an approach medium, or you might even get a medium clear coming out. Then you get the main line, then you get the main line signals. The best you can get is clear, maximum authorized speed. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, here we go, an approach medium. It's almost the same thing as medium approach, but approach medium means approach to the next signal, not exceeding medium speed. That means if you're going to take a siding, the siding is good for medium speed, 30 miles an hour. So that means you can approach the medium speed to the next signal, but prepare to stop in the siding. Okay, next one, Dave. Now, here's the 3 target. Again, it's the same thing as the 2 target, but you're not reading the bottom. All 3 targets is a stop. Okay, next one, Dave. Now you're going to approach. You read it again the same way. Approach the signal, not exceeding medium speed, or whatever you want to do. But the thing is, when you come to an approach, your train has to be down to medium speed. So if you're doing 50, you got to be down to 30 miles an hour by that signal, prepared to stop at the next signal. Next one, Dave. Again, you got to clear on top. If it's good for 70, you go for it. Okay, next one. Okay, now you got a medium clear. That means you're going to go in a siding. You might have a train sitting there, and he's going to run right around you. So that means you're going to go medium speed into the siding, which is 30 miles an hour. Now, if it was flashing, and depending on the switch, this is why the dispatcher has to know the territory, because if it's flashing, it'll be a limited clear. That means you can go in a siding at 45 miles an hour, depending on the territory. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, what do we got here? Red, green. Okay, slow clear. That means you're coming out of the siding again, but the track is only good for 15, 20 miles an hour. So that means slow speed until the entire train comes out of the siding. Then you can open it up to maximum authorized speed. Okay, next one, Dave. Oh, what do we got here? Yellow, red. Again, it's the same thing. Approach the next signal, not exceed a medium speed, but prepared to stop at the next signal. Now, if there was a yellow on the second one, you have a yellow and a yellow over red, it would be an advanced approach. That means advanced approach and prepared to stop at the second signal. So once you go by this signal, the next one's going to be an approach, and the next one after that could be a stop. So within four, usually put these 2 miles apart. So within 4 miles, you might have a stop. Or by the time you get there, you might have a clear. But you need to be prepared to slow your train down for whatever reasons. Okay, next one, Dave. See, now you're gonna approach medium. Now you're coming out of the siding again. That's how you're reading. Tops down, tops down. You got approach medium, back coming out of the siding. Approach next signal, not exceeding medium speed. So that means when you come out of the siding, you can come out of the siding at 30, but the next signal you have to stop. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, and now you got a yellow slow. It's a slow approach. The difference between a slow approach and approach slow. A slow approach means slow speed through the turnout, approach the next signal, prepare to stop. Approach signal means approach the next signal, not exceeding speed through turnouts, crossovers, and power operated switches. And one thing I forgot to mention is when you have two different signals and you are in between the signals, it's called a block. Now, if you have a block, you can go back and forth all day as long as you don't pass the signals. But if you're in coming out of dark territory, and you come up against a signal, chances are it's going to be uh, a regular signal with an A. That means you have to absolutely stop. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, here we go. Now, same thing. This is what is it? Approach slow. Okay, approach. There's so many signals to work with. It's approach the next signal, not exceeding slow speed. So your slow speed is 15 miles an hour, but approach the next signal, not exceeding 15 miles an hour. So that means you're coming out of the siding. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, everybody's big mistake on this one because everybody disregards it. When you look at this signal, it's a lunar. I put the lunar on the bottom, but it don't have to be. It can be in the middle. It can be on the top. As long as there's a lunar lit, it means restricted speed. It means it's a speed that will permit stopping half the range of vision, stopping shot of men on track equipment, trains, broken rail, an improperly lined switch, even a derail. But it's a speed not exceeding 15 miles an hour. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, here's the speeds I was telling you about. One's an approach medium. As you can see, it's yellow over green, and the other one's green over yellow. Now you can compare the two between approach medium and medium approach. Now you can see the difference between the two. Again, approach medium, approach the signal not exceeding medium speed. And the other one is medium approach, medium speed through turnouts, crossovers, power operated switches, approach the next signal, prepared to stop. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, when you go into a siding, sometimes you'll have the tall ones, sometimes you get the dwarf. And you see red, yellow over green, it's approach medium. You're not going to get anything green on the top because it's never going to happen in the siding. Because some of the conditions, track conditions in the siding, that's how it's going to be. But if you're gonna approach medium, it's approach next signal, not exceeding speed until your train all comes out of the siding. Your train has to be fully out of the siding before you want to open it up. It's just like when you have, if if you come to a workman on a track, you'll have two signs. You'll have um, a green and a yellow. When you come up to the yellow, when you come up to yellow, that means approach, prepare to stop. And then if there's no trackman there, it'll give you a speed in the bulletin, say do not exceed, say 20 miles an hour. Now you come on the other side of the restriction on the main, you'll have a green target, a green sign. Now, doesn't mean you can open it up when it goes by. Yes, but only till your train comes out of that restriction. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, here's a little diagram of what we did here. If you look at the top on the right, is the train getting the yellow, and then the next signal over, he's got a red. Now the train ahead of him, he's got a red, and then he's got a green, but he's got a green, so he's going to open it up. Now we got two trains running. Now on the bottom, on the right, this train is a high priority train. So what he'll do, he'll stop the train on the top, on the right. He'll stop it at the red signal, and this guy will get a yellow over green. It depends on the speed of the crossover. So if he's crossing over to run him around the other train, that means he'll have approach medium. Approach the next signal, not exceeding medium speed. As you see, he'll have a yellow, and then the next one he'll have a stop till the other guy clears up. Meanwhile, the other guy's going on the guy on the bottom on the left. If you look at the signals, the train behind him will have a clear, a yellow, and a stop. And this guy here will have a green. He's knocked down the signals in coordinates to where his train is. Again, if you're in between the signals, that's a block. You can go back and forth all day, but you can't go out of the signal limits. If you have a track warrant, if some of you are going to run, say by TWC, track warrant control, if nobody's going to be working on the track, he'll say, well, like give here, from New Bedford to Taunton, both directions, work in between. That means you can go back and forth all day in that territory. But if he gives you one direction, that means there's going to be a workman coming out behind you. It's the same thing. But you can only go one way and you can't back up. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, here we go. Now you see the train on the top. He's coming down the main. He has a clear signal. He has a clear signal. But the little train down the bottom, he's coming over to the diamond. So the diamond for that engineer, he'll have a yellow, and he'll go over the diamond, come up next to the switch, and he'll have a red. And all these other lights on the diamond will all be red. I just want to make sure everybody knows what a diamond is. Some people don't know it, some people do. It's a diamond. It's where one railroad crosses another railroad. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, here's pictures of a diamond. This railroad in the first picture's got two tracks. So there's a signal on each side, especially on the other side. And here, the middle one, is one here, and there's one further down on the left. But then there's one on the right and one on the left that you probably can't see. It's probably on this picture. But every diamond has a signal. The only thing with those is that it's a first come, first serve basis. It's not like the top one is dispatcher controlled because there's switches. If you see like the little one down in the middle, that is controlled by a circuit. The first train that hits the circuit is the first train to get the signal, get a clear signal. But if you get up to there and there's no signal, there's a little box you can go to and you can flick the switch and it sets off a timer. And it'll give you the signal and it'll stop the other train that's coming. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay, now this is two different territories. And a lot of people ask why, because that's the way it is in the timetable. Now, the train on the bottom is saying supposedly switching in the yard. Okay, he's got 50 cars, but 30 cars is up to the light. So he can go past the light because it'll be green. Once he backs the train in past that signal, it'll be red until he comes off the circuit. Once he comes off the circuit, it'll be green again for him to go forward. So it's an automatic block signal for him, ABS. The main line, when this little train on the bottom wants to come out the main line, he'll have a yellow, but he'll come over here and he'll have a red because you'll have a mainline freight coming down. You'll have a green and a green going by the main line. This is why you have ABS and CTC territories. It can get a little confusing. Okay, next one, Dave. Okay. As you see in the picture on the right, you see where that guy did all the lights on every end, because they call that like an interlocker. It's a bunch of compliances with signals and switches and power. Anything that's power operated switches is controlled with a light. And then some of these are like circuit boards. Now I found out that I think it was you, Don, that was mentioning about Digitrax.
Yep.
Digitrax is pretty good from what I understand. It's my understanding that if you're going to do the signals, do them in Digitrax. It might be a little cheaper, because I found out that with Atlas, if you do it through Atlas signals are $20 a piece, and the boards are $40 a piece. So if you have a siding, it's going to take you 2 signals, and it's going to take you 4 signals and 4 boards. So the 4 signals at $20 a piece is 80. 4 boards at $40 a piece is 160. So for every siding you do, it's 240, about 240.
Right.
I'm not telling you not to do it, but you can check the prices. I mean, I did. So it kind of gives you a heads up of what you're looking at.
I have all the old signals from my old layout.
Yeah.
So, and I'm using.
There's a whole bunch of signals. I was going to do the old Pensy signals, but a lot of them are not going to be used anymore.
Yeah. Well, I got the detection done. I got all the signals, and I'm using NCE Lightits for the, and they were using CATs.
Yeah.
A dispatcher control to do everything. So
because when NS brought out Conrail with CSX, there was a lot of rules confusion, because it was confusing with NORAC rules, with CSX and NS rules. Mm-hmm. So NS decided, let's take them down. Take them down, we'll do our rules, and so did CSX. So, well, is there any more there, Dave, or is that it? Oh, okay.
Again.
There you are. Oh, I hit the bumper post, man. Damn. So
That was funny.
now everybody knows the idea of a working signal and how they convey through the dispatcher.
That was good. That was interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, it is. There's different. Let me make a little note on that. There's different types of signals. Like I showed you the target ones because they're easier to learn. But there's like some with little triangles and some that are oval, like UP and the BN, and now CSX has some that are oval. But the signals still mean the same thing. So,
That was really good. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was great.
oh, you're welcome. Good job, Dave.
I got to play second banana.
Unless there are,
You slipped on the banana.
No, I played second banana.
Oh, okay.
unless there are other questions about this
Yeah, is there
particular,
any questions?
I'm going to stop the recording. Okay, stopping the recording.